Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the Corner Flag Talk podcast. Only have a solo water bad and it go down like the wrong throat, the wrong
Yeah,
passage. What is called that? What is called the other passage? Come now, I'll do by you. Um,
I really was
Your
for it,
windpipe.
is it your windpipe?
Basically, your
Yeah, I
windpipe.
feel it's like your
Yeah,
windpipe.
you
Yeah,
went
why
pipe.
was it like the proper term for your windpipe? I literally just swallow water bad as he's about to start and all cough. What's up, guys? I hope everybody is doing well. I would like to say that I did not mention this yet, and we will do a giveaway because we have always done one. We had our sixth anniversary last week, actually, and we didn't even record. I was really busy and just didn't get any time. But thank you for being here with us on this journey. We really do feel all the love and the support from you guys, and a lot of y'all know kind of the story of how Corner Flag has grown. It was me and Virgil alone in the beginning, and our brethren, brother Kitchen, who was a DJ,
Yeah,
big up Aaron and Tyrell one time. And here we are, a lot bigger, a lot more people. Like we also have Daniel here, who I will introduce in a minute. And so yeah, just thank you guys always for your support. We love y'all. We appreciate every share, every post interaction, every listen, every play, everything, every live event that we've done. We really appreciate you guys so much. So, as I said, I have Virgil here with me. Who's he? It's been long enough. We've been doing this
yeah,
for a while now.
for real,
What's good?
Yeah. I
We
had
have.
I had better football in weeks, but
Oh, you don't thought
we,
this week was great? I thought this week was great.
we get into that.
And I also have Pats with me. Pats, what's again, my guy?
Yeah, man, I good. I good.
You've also been here a while. We went through the whole FPL period,
Oh yeah,
which I would like to bring back at some point. I would like
yeah,
for us to start about doing some FPL stuff because it was fun.
yep.
Although this week has so far gone terribly for me. I brought in Iwoni and he blanked today. And for
Oof.
some reason, people still had Watkins. Like, what are you still doing with Watkins, bro?
Yeah,
That
boy.
was
Yeah,
that
boy.
was so annoying.
But
Anyways,
the
guys,
people
as
that
we
whole
say,
Watkins will get through though, because it
yeah,
was like
no,
just returns every week.
true, eh? Correct. Um, so yeah, guys, we here to talk about the latest in football. Because we didn't talk last week, we will do like some rough talk on like if your team already has played twice, including last week and this week, we could like talk more in a general consensus. But obviously, we'll start with this week's fixtures. I kind of go back if the need be. This should end up on YouTube because we actually have been getting stuff on YouTube, so you all will get to see that I am wearing this glorious jersey with none other than goal scorer Kai Havertz on the back of it. You can get yours too at the Kid Pundit. Very shameless plug. But here we are. But no better place to start this weekend than to start with what was the big. Before that, though, my biggest issue this season has been the Premier League schedule. It has been terrible. Why it is that there's one game on a Sunday, and with all due respect to them, why is it Sheffield and Brentford? No, Brentford and Nottingham Forest. Like that's
Yeah,
terrible. Why is that my Sunday? That should never be my. And then you have Chelsea playing on Monday, and you have all of United, City, and Arsenal playing at the same time. And like I don't know about all you, but like I have felt like most of the prime slots so far this season have gone to Newcastle, and Newcastle was getting all the prime spots so far this season. All the 12, 30 slots and thing to be played some of the
yeah,
most
boy.
boring games this season. Except for last week when they beat Sheffield. Anyway, Liverpool versus Spurs, guys. There's a ton of talking points that come out of this game. But before we get into the nitty gritty, I will allow you guys to give like an overarching view of the game. So Virgil, what you thought about the game?
Yeah, I feel like the game was what we expected, honestly, because the new Spurs team really is exciting to watch because Ange had them playing some real good football now. I know the unlikely player with Charlton, they actually providing a good bit of energy towards the team. But come up against a Liverpool side that's still although people still looking at the Liverpool side as as not 100% not fully there yet, still feel like there's still some work to do with this Liverpool team. They really, you know, they're still performing well, and it really shows up in the table. So when these two teams came up against each other, I expected something big. And honestly,
Yeah.
the game didn't disappoint. And one thing you would say about Spurs, and you have to give credit to them, I felt like other seasons before they would go up against Liverpool, and they would have this kind of fear about them. They'll feel like they'll still feel that Liverpool is the side that's bigger than them, that could always outclass them. But I feel like Spurs come in this game already. I feel like even when it ended up being 1-1, even before the
Mm-hmm.
even before the second red card, that other thing, other crazy bit of scene that was going on. I feel like from just the early minutes, from when Spurs scored our first goal, I felt that Spurs felt like the likely out of the two to leave with all 3 points. And well, coming down to what happened at the end, then I'm getting it from our own goal or off Matip. But you had to win, you had to win. So you can't really fight them down like that.
Real.
I basically credit to Spurs, and not just credit to them, but credit to Ange what he doing with the Spurs team, honestly.
Patrick, what was your thoughts about the game, bro?
I thought it was a really exciting game. But one like my biggest talking point coming out of the game was that I think Liverpool have successfully went ahead and just restarted the project. Like they look a whole lot better than they did last season, even season before. In my opinion, um, I think this season really made me realize too that I was right about Mane, then I was wrong about him, and now it looked like I right again. When I used to say that guy is not all that, and then he left, Salah kind of was a little bit shaky, and then I was like, maybe Mane really was the glue holding everything together. And now I realize he actually wasn't. Salah is that guy. And Mane is over in the money league right now. But anyway, I just
Mm-hmm.
had to get that in there. Didn't make it at Bayern also. Bayern, the place where all strikers succeed. Mane did go there and play centre forward. But now, before I go off on a tangent, I'm bringing it back to reality now. Mane is over there in the Saudi league though. Just putting out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Salah is over here doing
We
think a
need
goal
him.
or an
We
assist
need him
every week.
every game.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think Spurs successfully for the first time in 12 games did not concede to Salah. So that was a nice little plus for Spurs.
Okay.
Because before that it was
Mm-hmm.
12 games in a row that Salah had scored or assisted against them. So and he probably should have on the day. I don't even think the ass was offside. But again,
Well,
I'll
we'll come
put
to
that
that
down to the
in a time,
to
right?
the referee.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, anyway, look, on a more serious note, I honestly think Liverpool are much stronger than I was giving them credit for. I mean, as Virgil correctly said, it shows in the table, but to go down to 10 men and make it look like it was still 11v11, um, that is one of two things. Either Liverpool are still devastating on the counter, or we starting to see some gaps in Anne's system because I was real surprised how a box four of Saab Bissouma and the two centre backs, Van de Ven and Argentine boy, how they let like a 10-man Liverpool team counter them like so much. And I
Mm-hmm.
really think Liverpool was a little bit unlucky to score from one or two of those counters. It came down to a little poor decisions slash weird offside calls, so on and so forth. But Liverpool is a force to be reckoned with this season. I'm not gonna talk about
Yeah.
Spurs because we all know how good they look. So yeah, all credit to Ange and what he's done with the team is it's been really really bright. So yeah.
Yeah, I kind of resonate with both of what y'all are saying. Like, we have seen good things from Spurs so far, right? But like, this actually was a game where I came up with some concerns, that because they, like you rightfully said, right, they went down to 10 men, as in Liverpool did, and it felt like if it still was very even. And in fact, I actually thought for a large part of the game, it felt like if Liverpool was still the one with the impetus to go forward and take the game and lead, you know? And I think that shows that, and I don't mean this in a criticism, but rather that we need to remember that where Spurs are with Ange is, we have said this before, is a completely new concept to like the last 3 or 4 coaches that Spurs have had. And with that being said, it is a learning curve for a lot of these players, right? So they will not be 100% on it all the time. There will be lapses in concentration. And even in all the good we've seen from them so far this season, we've can all, I think, agree that we've seen holes in the defense thus far. It is not hard for good, competent teams to create goal scoring opportunities against them. And so far, we've seen them come out of three big games with 2 wins and a draw, right? Arsenal, Tottenham, not Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, and United. And I think when we watch all three games, we see a consistency rather in them getting results that the other team has not been finishing their good chances. Like we all know in that United game back then, they did not finish. The United did not finish any chances at all in that first half. Whether it was Rashford, it was Bruno, it was Garnacho, whoever it was. Liverpool again here, plus the controversial Lisa Jones Arsenal where Eddie missed, Jesus missed in that 35-minute period. They started the game. And so they are riding their luck a bit in the back. But I think like if we throw it back a little bit to like Liverpool of 2016-17, before they get Virgil, before they even had get Salah and Allison and these guys, they were like heavy metal in the sense of they would score 5, concede 3 and 4 and them kind of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
that could be a good enough recipe to get back in the Champions League. And that is what would be Spurs' aim for this season. Would be to
Right.
implement the style and to get to the Champions League football. Controversial decisions, guys. Liverpool had 2 red cards. The first one, do you guys think it was a red card on Curtis Jones?
No.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think that was our card, honestly.
So I would say that by unfortunately, because I don't think it should be a red. Unfortunately, by like the textbook of the game,
Yeah.
it is a red in the sense that his boot is above the ball and is going into the opposition shin, right? But I have 2 issues with this. One, where is he supposed to put his foot, bro? Like they are both evenly contesting for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, on review, anything slowed down looks terrible. And I have a serious issue with us reviewing anything outside of offside in slow mo. Because football is not played in slow mo. I generally think like when you are reviewing these situations, you review them in real time. Because that is the time these players have to react to things and to react and to change and to move and whatnot. Like anytime you slow down a handball, guys, it will look terrible. Anytime.
Right.
It will always look intentional. Like that slow mo is not the amount of time a player has to react. I don't know how you all feel about that, but I have a very strong feeling against slowing down replays for that. But I think it was harsh on Curtis, and the irony is, I had sent Patrick a little article this week or thread was on Twitter on how Curtis Jones has been growing in importance for Liverpool
Mhm.
ever
Mm-hmm.
since the 7-0, I guess, United earlier this year. Very unfortunate yourself. Jota now, accumulation of 2 yellow cards, guys. Do you think it was justified for him to be sent off?
Well, yeah. And the
No,
second thing was a yellow for sure.
yeah, yeah. So I feel like in a
So
game like in a game like that, you can't really lose your head like that. And Jota actually did that for that second
yes,
game.
and I think Jota was very immature and unprofessional to have gone in that second time, knowing you just get a yellow. That
Right.
is that real failure what he had do. However, the first one, I don't know if all you remember, Arsenal had lost to Wolves a few years back, and um David Luiz, I guess, sent off
Hmm.
for touching him on back of his foot with using David Luiz's knee and just gently brushed him on. And he, I guess, sent off for that. And it was a penalty and I just think like, bro, again, where you expect players to go in them situations to card him for that first one.
Hmm.
I find the card for the first one kind of harsh. I don't know if you all think
Well,
that is harsh. Tell me.
I think it was harsh in isolation, but sometimes you have to look at the whole context of the game. A couple fouls might build up into somebody getting a shitty yellow card, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Like
Mm-hmm.
2, 3 fouls that goes uncarded, and the ref would have in the back of his
Hmm.
mind, okay, I need to give a card in this next one to calm the game down. Unfortunate that Jota get
Mm-hmm.
that one. So in isolation, probably not a yellow, but my whole thing is that whether the first one was a yellow, wasn't a yellow, whatever, that doesn't really matter because once you get a second yellow, it really have nothing you could
Yeah.
say to
And
justify that
shouldn't he?
he should not have gotten that second yellow because it was second
Yeah.
time it was a yellow, and that was all him.
And he should not have lose his head the way he did to slide in for that second one, right? So that's two decisions we had so far, right? And both of them, even if we agree or we don't, those things are still like subjective calls. That
Mm-hmm.
like you kind of leave it up to the discretion of the referee. However, offside is not subjective. And at the time, Luis Diaz, I think this was right after Curtis had get sent off, right? Luis Diaz had
Mm-hmm.
scored, and they showed a replay freeze frame with no lines drawn. It
Yeah.
has been released since then that that was an error and he was onside. The PGMOL has released that an apology, because apparently that's what points nowadays. And they also said that what had happened was the VAR official thought that the on-field decision was that it was given as onside. So
Mm-hmm.
his response was correct decision, no change required to the VAR,
Oh,
to
okay.
the on-field official, and
Yeah.
therefore the on-field official giving it as offside said,
Yeah.
well, okay, it was offside, hence offside. And
Uh,
I can't lie, I think that is embarrassing for the PGMOL. And it's not the first time they've done something like this. This happened to us last year against Brentford when Brentford goal was offside and they forgot to draw a line. And that is so shambolic, man. And I mean, we talk about fine margins here, right?
People should
The
get fired for
over
that.
what?
To be honest,
And the thing
like
is,
you
I
should
have
you
said
shouldn't be
over.
in such a. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but you are right because I have said over and over that refereeing in this sport is the only position where the person never pays for their mistakes. If a player performs poorly, they are dropped, possibly sold. If a coach performs poorly, they are sacked. But
Yeah.
officials who have the authority in the game, they don't face any consequences. They screw
Yeah.
a team out of points. What do? They get a little fine, they referee again next week. They don't actually have any real consequences to their jobs. And so I'm not saying fire every official that makes a bad call. However, I believe that it needs to have a lot more jeopardy or we start to replace officials. Because my other thing is, if we be real, the best players in the Premier League is players like Salah, Haaland. I guess you could maybe say De Bruyne. The best coaches in the league is Pep, is Jurgen Klopp, is Arteta, is who else good? Somebody give my next good name now. Was he my name? The Zerbi, right? But
Unai
point is,
Emery.
all these players are foreigners, right?
Facts.
That being said, the coaches are foreigners. Why it is we don't have foreign referees then? Because clearly the English ones aren't doing good enough, and it's not a question of implementing technology. Is that these men just are incompetent and they are showing incompetency.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was all some real good points. I don't know why it is that the FA against hiring outside officials. I honestly don't know what
Mm.
the reason could possibly be, but but yeah, man, I have a serious problem against people messing up simple calls like that because that's literally just a lapse of concentration. He was probably on his phone or something, or mentally just doze off
Yeah.
to something his
Mm-hmm.
wife tell him in the
Mm-hmm.
morning or whatever, and he literally like mess up a team from possibly getting 3 points because that would have been 1-0. You know, it's a big
Yep.
difference
Mm-hmm.
from going 1-0 the other way. You know, um,
Mm-hmm.
he should honestly lose his job. I don't even care who it is because that's such a big lapse. People just lose their jobs for less in regular work. So,
Mm-hmm.
John, imagine you there in Pro Man, right? And you make a mistake one day and order, I don't know, $500,000 worth of the wrong material. Would you not get
Mm-hmm.
fired? And you would can't complain if
Mm-hmm.
they fire you, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you would just
Yep.
have to
Correct.
hold that.
Now John could
Mm-hmm.
just slap an apology and then come to work the next day.
Imagine. And
And the
and
thing is,
points in the Prem worth a lot of money, dog.
I you know what? I genuinely believe so. Like, there's a rule that I'm not sure if it's a rule, but it's more like an accepted practice that the team that has benefited, if they agree to a replay, that the game can be replayed, allegedly, right? That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that should be the case now. I think that in cases like in any game that has had a defining call to this magnitude, it should
Mm-hmm.
be up for replay. As in, it that should happen. That it is not a question of if one team's allowed. It should happen because it is unfair to both teams. I agree because now you're gonna have to exhaust the extra game and whatever, and if you cannot get back players that might have been injured in that game or anything like that. Every
Mm-hmm.
call that made in that game is scrapped. You do over that game, in which a game where the PGMOL has to reach the point that they have to apologize. Like a that bad in it, that they have to apologize. It's not even like if it was just the red cards, even if I don't agree with them, we could still chalk it up to subjectivity. This is not
Yeah.
subjectivity. This is incompetence. At
Right.
the highest level of the game, in the league that we claim is the best, is incompetence. And if that is the level, then we aren't actually at the level we claim to be at then. The next issue is that there was a very real chance for the Premier League to implement last season's offside technology that was in the Champions League, the semi-automated one.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
single team had a problem with that. In fact, everybody liked it. It was seamless, it took very little time, and it was accurate. They chose not to implement that here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Why?
mean, I don't know why. It could be a money decision. I assume
And the
that
thing
implementing
is,
a whole new thing is gonna be very expensive. People gonna lose
but
jobs. Other people gonna get jobs. Yeah, it could be. It could just be a political decision, dog. You're looking at plenty backroom staff losing their jobs, and then you gotta
mm,
hire a lot of new staff. People are trained with AI rather than just looking at flicking TV. And it gonna be real expensive to buy that system. And who knows what's going on in the back room? Whoever deal with this one and that one, and politics are involved everywhere, and could just
and
be that.
but politics is the right term because what I was going to say is that like this is what does open the door for people to accuse the Premier League of engaging in match fixing and corruption because that is something that you are taking out of the human element. Again, we can't scratch that up to subjectivity anymore. We are now engaging in black and white. And like I have said this multiple times, that I like, for example, I like we'll talk about Arsenal in a bit, right? But like we drew last week, and honestly, I wasn't like even sad. Like I mean, I was like upset that we lost. Like, well, drop points, but like to say like I was like vexed or anything, I wasn't because we lost on the merits of the game, and I could live with that. I could live with that. My players messed up, my coach messed up, and that I could live with. The things that has upset me is when you now remove the outcome of a game from the 22 people on the pitch. That is what does upset me. And I rather win or lose there. You know, it is all funny when
Yeah,
your side benefit from a bad call, but I rather lose that sense of ha 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 ha
Mm-hmm.
at the expense of never having to experience being on the bad end of a bad call. And I could
right.
live and die by whatever the men do on the field. And look, I know that, and there's no way to fully eliminate it. You know, they never will be, because at the end of the day, we're not going to get robots. At least, not. At least I don't think in the foreseeable future to be referees, right? And even at that point, it's still never going to be 100% correct. 'Cause there's no way that you could. At least I don't think there's a way to program anything to calculate every angle in which anybody could ever touch anybody that at the same time touch the ball or whatever. There still will be human elements in it. You still won't fully remove it. But I think they are making the referees, and only hear what I'm saying here, by avoiding to implement technology and remove human error as much as we can, they are making referees even bigger targets. Because the less responsibility you have is the less they can make errors and the less they will be blamed. We leave them with room to mess up, and they are messing up. I am so sorry, but they are messing up, and they will continue to be at the forefront of these discussions. And so
Yeah,
now we are sitting here, the three of us are sitting here, we're doing this football podcasting for a while now, and instead of talking about the fact that Son shows up big again, Madison was pretty good in my opinion, a fantastic ball, Um, Sozo Blai, when they went up man down, ran like hell in our midfield and actually impressed me a ton.
He's
Salah
always
has
run
been
though.
carrying the side. Virgil to me felt like if he was back to his best today since he had get an injury.
Yeah, for
Like
real.
he felt supreme. And yet we are here 25 minutes into this pod and we have dominated this talk about referees. And
Yo,
that
I mean,
is
it was a
when
real bad day for the refs.
we are going wrong. That is when we are going wrong. That a game between two top four, possibly title contenders conversation, instead of talking about the game and the players and the tactics, we are sitting here talking about the referees. That being said, I really did think Virgil was fantastic today, by the way. I think it was a case of he probably just had to like get accustomed to his body as he get older and doesn't have the same pace that he had before. But he was immense today. And I actually have thought he has been pretty good this season outside of that Newcastle game where he obviously paid the price with had a suspension served it and came back pretty well. Um Gakpo got injured. Like no, Liverpool have like no real positives to come out of this game with, they got two men
Yeah.
suspended. Gakpo looked like he tweaked his knee pretty bad. They obviously lost the points in a terrible way. Um, yeah, boy. Can I say one thing about Liverpool though? Is that like I do think that if Liverpool had a little bit more depth and an actual DM, I would have had Liverpool in the title conversation. And come February, they might very well be in it. And they could beat it over Arsenal. I wasn't saying this as an Arsenal fan, but as a watch of the game. I still think that Liverpool, even when it is 11v11, even with all the intensity that they have, they are really reliant on last ditch interventions and humongous saves from Allison to
Mm.
stop them from conceding at times. And I think that should be a concern. And this is them in the current iteration, by the way. This is not when Trent comes back and you lose Gomez at right back and you're going to have a more attacking player there. So therefore, there'll be more space for oppositions to attack here. And I think that might be the only reservation I have with Liverpool in projecting them being still part of the top two come February. Was all the thoughts on that?
Mm. Nah. Well, okay, you're saying for them. Everything that I was saying with Spurs before, because that part of the season you mentioned is critical. That part come February. I feel like, and the thing is, I might get a different vibe of the Liverpool team, but I feel like looking at the, I honestly feel like just looking at the both teams that time come February. I know. I feel like the one I feel like I'll put a lot more confidence in, that might be not just high up the table, but I feel like I like having a much consistent run of form. I had to give it to Spurs over Liverpool, honestly. I just looking at the two teams, and I don't know, because with Spurs in no competition, right?
No.
Nope.
So, and I just feel like with the team that they have, I feel like team that they have, coach that they have, I feel like it's easier for them to manage games. Obviously, manage games obviously better. I know you're focusing with like the other domestic competitions, but like right now with Liverpool, and obviously we mentioned with the injuries. The injuries is a would be a big factor, not just in the future, but obviously in the short term as well. But honestly, I don't know. I feel with how things going with Liverpool, because I mentioned what happened in this game. These things would be crucial for them for the run of games. That, but don't get me wrong. I believe they have some manageable games. I think it's Luton. So a lot of easy. I know they have back to back to back runs of winnable games where they could rack up their points. But
Mm.
just in the whole, I don't know. I feel like I still need some to analyze Liverpool a little more. Don't get me wrong. We're playing good football, but I feel like between the two teams, At that time, I would be very surprised to see Spurs not, not that high up in the table.
How you feel, Patrick? About what I say about Liverpool and then what you
Um,
say about Spurs?
I think I would probably also give it to Spurs for like if I think this is a question of who have the more sustainable system, right? Maybe sustainable is the
Mm-hmm.
wrong word, but I'll use it anyway. And I think at the moment Spurs does. I think Liverpool are still relying on key players within the system to kind of bring everything together. So like without Van Dijk, Salah, and Alisson, I think everything comes crumbling down. Without any one of them. So I'm not saying if you miss all three, saying if you miss just one of them. Without Salah, the team has no creativity. And then without Van Dijk and
Not even
Alisson,
with
you're looking at
Koboslai.
he created in a different way though. So it's like don't make chances. He just get the ball in the right areas, but he don't make chances. But Salah makes the
Okay.
chances. Like when you're looking at who's going to rack assists, I wouldn't be surprised if so was like end the season with like 5 assists. But Salah is
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
going to end with about 15/20
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
he's
Yeah.
the final
Yeah.
ball player right now. And if you were to take him out, I don't think Soboslai could do that or will do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not his role,
Yeah.
you know. Um, I think Soboslai is creative the same way McAllister was creative last season. It's like
Mm.
they get the ball in the right places and then the wingers take over from there. Now they have a
Mm-hmm.
very
Okay.
important role, but it's not as important as Salah, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I think Liverpool not riding their luck, but they are lucky to have players like Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, anything. Also, I think sometimes Klopp does make these weird decisions to just go without a DM, and to me that's a weird decision for the type of football that Liverpool like to play. You're looking at a team that likes to gig and press, kinda. I mean, they don't do it as much as they used to, but they in between a kind of gig and press slash mid block. It's very weird, but whatever Klopp is trying to build, cool. But a lot of times you need a actual natural DM to add some shield
Mm-hmm.
to your two centre backs, especially if you're going to go with your full backs, going up. This is a good time to transition over to Postecoglou's team because he does something very similar to Klopp, except they leave a box um back. So between the
Mm-hmm.
two centre backs, and then you have Bissouma and Sa that protects the two centre backs, and that allows the full backs to go. I think that's something that Klopp could actually look at because I think it's a successful way to stop counter attacks with that box.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
Spurs aren't really doing it well right now, but I figure it will click soon at some point that Bissouma and Sa need to be a little bit more switched on defensively to to cover space a little bit better because a lot of the time the space in front of them just gets occupied by the opponent and one of them should step. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all that football. Um, that being said, I think that Spurs have the more sustainable system. Both teams have excellent fixtures coming up, so both teams have very winnable fixtures in the near future. But I just think Spurs have a slightly more sustainable system. And one more thing that I'll add, which is out of the control of both teams, is that in terms of sustainability and consistency, Spurs could literally afford to start the same 11 every single week. And we know that that is not something that Liverpool will be able to do over the next 2, 3, 4 months because them players they just drop like flies. We're looking at injuries always to Joe Gomez is always injured, Matip in and out, Konate always.
Plus Europa
Alessandro's
League.
plus that too. Alessandro spent about 3, 4, 5 games a season on injury. The only guy that really just don't get injured is Salah. But everybody else up for grabs. So looking at that inconsistencies and who you had to start as well. So
Yeah.
that's a
Mm-hmm.
problem too. I think that's a seriously overlooked problem.
Cool. Fair enough.
So yeah.
Moving it on. Another team that lost 2-1 this weekend was who that was, boy? Oh yeah, that was City. Patrick Hillis, right? And Barca hasn't lost for this season, eh?
Nah.
Yeah, well, they're undefeated, eh? Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Arsenal also undefeated. Yeah, they
Uh,
haven't lost a game so far this season. You know who has lost 2 games though? Is
Yeah.
Manchester City.
Mhm.
Virgil.
Yeah.
So no Rodri, no party, boy.
I mean that just goes to show the importance of I feel a
Correct,
midfield
eh?
that midfielder
I,
that
I,
should
I,
be up there for Ballon d'Or
uh,
contender.
so before I let you go into it deep, right? Just quickly,
Mm-hmm.
were you confused by the fact that he didn't start Calvin Phillips?
Wait, like why he didn't start him?
Yeah.
Okay, I can get that, because think about it. At this point, with Rodri out, and you have good players that could play alongside him. Because don't get me wrong, if you play a double pivot with Rodri and Calvin Phillips, you're really going to be sacrificing a lot more going forward. Really, at this point, I trying to figure out what beef Pep have with Calvin Phillips at this point, because it's like I don't know what else this
Mm.
man could do. Calvin Phillips literally pay off the ref last week to get Rodri a red card, and still doing that, the man still can't get a start. But he did play midweek, and he did look impressive, honestly. But for in a role like that, it's not really something that you expected to start. He was impressive because of the lack of opportunities and the lack of games we could have really based off of. So what we saw was just
Mm.
refresh to see, honestly. But yeah, for this, I really don't know what else he could do.
Okay, so game wise, guys, everybody should know by now that Ruben Diaz is a clown and scored a one goal.
How is he?
And after because agendas must agenda.
What do you
To be
get off
honest, he
of
really
hating from this guy? What do you get out of it? Like, why do you hate
um
him?
why? I don't hate him.
Yeah.
Dog, this is just like the same thing why I don't actually hate Bruno. It's just I don't really like when people in my perception, like at the end I am nobody in it, but yet I am everybody. I just think like he rated wrongly. That is all. I think he's a good
In what
player.
in what way?
I
I won't go so far with
I
all that.
I think Ruben Diaz is a good player. Like this is not even like how I think Bruno is completely misread on thing. I just think the man kind of rash. No, I don't actually think he did anything wrong this weekend. I genuinely was just clowning him. He could not have
Yeah.
do anything there. But
Mhm.
I do think that he's a rash player. And I think like if he was playing like seriously though, I think if he was playing like for Liverpool where they have a lot more defending to do just by the natural style of play that they play, that he would have lose a little wire a little more often. Whereas a City, he doesn't actually face that much. So he doesn't get a chance to show loose wire. Like compared to how Laporte used to like shitty pants every time anybody with like a FIFA pace rating over 80 when he started running at him used to be. He not that bad. But he have a little rashness in his game. And I genuinely do find like he likes to go to ground kind of fast. And that does worry me as a center back. In a center back.
I don't know though, because I on the total opposite when it comes to looking at Diaz. I
Nah, I
thought
know.
that, yeah, because last season I say he was the best centre back in the world, right?
I'll
I
agree.
really thought, yeah.
Oh no,
I
I
also
agree with
think,
that. I do.
mhm.
Because he was genuinely the best in the world last year. I can say that. I just
Okay, but how
actually
you
just
gonna be the
find in
best in
his
the world
game
and also be overrated? How is that possible?
because like best is the word best is comparative. Whereas
Hmm.
how good somebody is individual, if that makes sense.
Okay, but we comparing him to guys like
Like
Delict last season, Kim Min Jae, Saliba, Gabriel. We all said he was better than all of them, right?
yeah, but I also think like part of that is to do with the fact that one is the system he play in, and two the fact that they did achieve everything that he did achieve. I know, don't get me wrong, he did
Mike fault.
100% contribute to everything that they did achieve. He was
Hmm.
a vital cog to that. But like, I I think there are center backs I would take over him in building a system going forward. Like I think that he is important to the way that City play.
Hmm.
I still do even think that he's the best center back at City. And I
Who
have
is?
maintained that. I still think John Stones is better than him.
Mm.
You
I don't know,
now it's
dog.
two very
I know
different
Stones is
roles that
more
they play.
Stones is more technical. I would say that for
Yeah,
sure. I don't know if
and
he's a better centre back.
fair.
That's why I'm
That's
not sure.
valid, you know.
Mm.
Um, honestly, I would say though, I say purely out of cloud in the man. he could not
I
have
just
done
have to ask the
anything
question
different.
because it's been a recurring theme across like multiple years in kind
And
of like from his first season. And you're coming off
but
my
to be
boy,
fair,
so I had to ask.
that then he used to do it a lot more too. I will never forget that game against Brighton, though. I swear that man with Harry's water park the way he slip and slide that game, though. And uh, that I just find concerning, boy, because like on the other hand, right, like ooh, this kind of song real last time bias, boy. I don't want to say it there, because somebody gonna hear this and come for me. But like I generally think like you take him out and you replace him with Saliba, dog. They are still as good or better. I like Saliba composure in the game and the way that he could compete physically with center backs and this is somebody who is younger than him and still learning to use his body properly. You know?
Right.
Now that could also be why Diaz used to go to the ground so much, eh? Like he was still I think center backs learn how to use their body better when they reach like 25. If I'm not mistaken, Diaz is now 26.
He's our age,
So
yes.
like, yeah. We straying though. I don't actually hate him now. This is mostly to just stick out Virgil. I don't hate any footballer for the record. I don't. They're just players I prefer, and then I just don't like overrated things. Like for
No,
example, right, dog. Everybody rating Son this season. I honestly find
Hmm.
it Son is doing exactly what I've always said he was good at. Receive, shift, shooter. And he's also linking play pretty decent.
mm,
All you realize that Ange, who everybody's falling over, started Son on the wing. And the second that he could have get to put Son in strike, he move him off the wing, put actual wingers on the wing, and put Son on top because Son is not a winger that is going to create dribble, drive, score, drive, cross, create whatever. You know,
Correct.
he's shift,
Yeah.
shoot, and score. That is all I was saying, money man. But like I remember when Menu like when Son scored that 20 goals for Spurs the other season, and men was comparing him to Prime Eden Hazard dog. That was fretting my soul in it. Because
Well, sorry, I'll
no
let you
bad.
finish.
Tell me.
I want to say that I find sometimes we take comparisons way out of context. Like if you compare Son to Hazard, and you know the first thing somebody would say is like, "Nah, but Hazard is way more talented than Son. Them should not be on the same level." Da da da. Hazard is a better dribbler than Son. Hazard is better in big games and whatever. Son is a better finisher than Hazard. Son has always been a better goal scorer than Hazard. Nobody can say
Yeah.
that though, because
Yeah,
Hazard
yeah.
is just the god of the Prem. You know what I
No,
mean?
but I will agree
So
that though.
yeah,
I agree
because you
with that
have no
fully.
choice. Son has proved it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
it would never come up. All people will see is Hazard compared to Son, and then like in tunnel vision. And how could you
What
say
I
that?
would
That should
what
never
I
be rah 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 rah.
what I would say though, only
Like
once has Son outscored Hazard best season though. And that was the season he scored the 20.
mm,
okay,
Like
but Hazard
Hazard
best
has
season was almost an anomaly in terms of goal scoring as well, though.
no goal scored Hazard. That season
Hmm.
that he hit the 15-15 plus, that
Hmm.
even wasn't even his highest goal scoring season. His highest goal scoring season was the season that he won the title under Conte and he scored 18 that year.
In
Either
Prem,
that year was the 18, yeah, in Premier alone. Either that year was the 18 or it was the Mourinho year. One of the 2 years he had scored 18 though. And that was the most he
um,
ever scored in a season. And that was outside of the season where he went 16 and 15.
well, I'll take my L then because I didn't remember him scoring so much in a single Prem season. But would
But
then I was wrong.
how we reach here?
Cool. We say that comparing
right,
Son to
Oh
Hazard,
yeah,
and
mm,
yeah.
Hazard is
But like
more talented, but like it's just a weird
but where I
comparison. It's
did
two
point to
totally
that
different players.
was to say though, like there are players that like I am despite what people may think, I am very much able to like separate the fact that like I like I'm being real here. Cause like I just spoke Virgil about KDB like all the time, right? But like I could appreciate KDB for who he is and like more than people realize, I respect KDB a lot though for how good he is and how he's perfected what he's elite at. And don't get mixed in it. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, and he retired and he stopped using WD-40, he is going to sit at the table with the best midfielders ever in the Premier League.
I mean,
Possibly
just
top
ever.
three.
Just ever.
possibly number one even. Like there is a very real chance, right? But I can separate the fact that I can watch him like this and know that on the other hand, there are players that has achieved less, but I appreciate their style of play more. You know? Because like achievement has so much to do with like the team you're in and the right timing and all that now, you know.
No, well, facts.
Well,
But then isn't a lot of rating players just opinion based too? It's like you see something in a player that you like personally, so you rate him higher than a different player who might be equally as effective, but they do it in a different way. That personally you wouldn't do it that way, so you have a
so
hard time rating it.
I don't see that as rating. I just see that as appreciation though.
Okay.
Like if I had to choose between the two, yeah, I might not have choose KDB. I would have being frank. Ozil and
Yeah, yeah.
KDB is two very different type of attacking midfielders. I prefer Ozil's type. I generally
Mm-hmm.
prefer the one who would look for the million pass, and compared to the one who would repeat the same thing over and over, and also has the ability to score like crazy goals. You know, but I would prefer that one for style of play, even though
Right.
he's achieved less because he played under a senile old Frenchman, compared to the other one who's played under the greatest coach of all time. That making no
Wait, Wenger
sense?
wasn't French. But sorry, that was yeah, go ahead.
No, he was. Yeah, he was
Wenger is
French.
French? He has a big
Yeah,
ass
yeah.
German accent.
He is Arsene Wenger. Yeah,
How is that
he's
a
French.
French? That's a German name.
I don't know.
He's French for
Uh,
real? Oh, that's crazy.
yes,
I
he
didn't
is
even.
French. That's
This
like a
whole
big
time I
reason
thought he
as
was.
to why like Arsenal had a high. Well, you know we only talk about one game so far, but Arsenal had like a high influx of French players during his time at the club. Like we dead ass had like a lot of French players. Like you talk about like Anelka, Henry, and go straight down the line, dog.
Yeah,
Like Saliba
Jude.
is grew up as an Arsenal fan because of the Henry era and stuff like that. So we straight in. City lost this weekend. No Rodri again. And Haaland, Virgil, missing our bag of chances. But this is not something I'll let you comment on. Patrick, we have now
Mm-hmm.
seen like 5 games in a row where Haaland has not scored. And I am going to read out something for you all here. And I thought this was actually kind of amazing when I read it the first
He
time.
hasn't scored 5 games in a row.
No.
No,
Five
that's
games in a row
wrong.
where he's
That's
like
right.
missing like 15 chances a game.
Oh, okay. Cause I was about to say 5 games in a
So
row, Haaland didn't score.
let
That's
me
probably not.
read this out, right? Disregarding penalties, Erling Haaland hasn't scored a single Premier League goal that has changed the outcome of a game in 2023. His last was in the 1-1 draw to Everton on New Year's Eve. He is, well, this person went on to call him a stat padder. I wasn't really going to go that far. But
Mm-hmm.
goals so far this season: the second versus Forest, the third at West Ham, the third and fourth versus Fulham, the first at Sheffield, which after he missed a pen, the first and second at Burnley, the second at Everton last season, the second versus West Ham last season, the first penalty at Fulham, the fourth versus Arsenal, and they went on and on to last season.
Yeah.
That he hasn't been scoring game state changing goals. And like I've been on record that I've said that I don't necessarily think it's down to him that they won the Champions League. I have said it was more down to the system change and Pep realizing that KDB is not a midfielder but really another striker and that kind of stuff. So more to the point, Patrick, he hasn't really been impacting games, bro. What's your thoughts?
That's where I have a problem. See that thing how you say he's not impacting games?
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with that. If you want to say he's not scoring the important goal, then sure, the stats show that he isn't. But you can't say that a man like Erling Haaland is not impacting the game. He may not touch the ball,
Expand.
but right, yeah. So he may not touch the ball, but this is just a case of where your reputation precedes you, right? And he has one of the biggest reputations in the Prem right now for just being that guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way that he is going to mentally destroy the opponent's defenders is something that we would never have a stat to be able to analyze. Something that we would never even understand because we could never be in their shoes. We could literally just use our experiences to assume what the Haaland effect is going to be like, right? But From what I've
Mm.
seen and from what I think I understand, um, just having him on the field, splitting defenders, is always going to be an immense unspoken problem for the opposition. And that is what is going to help City create a whole lot of space for their other players as well. Um, just having Haaland between the two centre backs, which is the position that he takes up most of the time, just right there between the centre backs, just being himself, probably farting and talking in different languages and whatever, and being very weird, but just letting everybody know I'm here. Don't forget I could score at any point. So look out for me, and maybe don't look at what else going on around you, but I think is a big problem for opponents to face City, to have to double team Haaland, but at the same time you're getting death by 1,000 cuts from the rest of these super technical players. I
Mm.
can't say that Haaland don't impact the games, but we could say that he hasn't scored opening goals in a while.
Nice. Um, to be fair, they didn't just say opening goals. They said game state changing goals. Like if it was to turn a loss
Mm,
to a draw, to go ahead in a draw, or
Right.
to win a game, that kind of thing. But yeah,
Well, even
completely
those.
fair. Yeah, completely fair points. I agree with all those. Virgil, all your
mm-hmm.
loss. First time all your loss in the Prem for the season. Um,
Yeah.
However, I am not going to go fully in on this banter. However, I will let you know it is stored. I have an envelope here. Inside here is the banter. It is stored in here, and
Okay.
after next week Sunday, we'll determine if I open it or not. If I you might not want to come on the show. That being said, what was your thoughts on the game overall?
Yeah. Well, see, we're all going into this game. It's all a lot of other factor that people forget. People forgetting this Wolves team have a certain man
They
called
haven't
Pedro
played
Neto.
good, eh? They may not
Exactly.
have been getting results, but Wolves have been playing good.
They have forget Wolves have a certain man called Pedro Neto who is a nuisance when running at
Great.
defenders.
He is
And that
great.
has always been from going into the game. Because I mean, from the season Pedro Neto had, I was like, he is a player that I looking out for the season, and I hope that he get a numbers because it's time for him to take that step up. I hope it's not a team like Liverpool, but I feel like I feel like Pedro Neto really is a nuisance. And I'm going into that game. We're looking at timings. We're looking at all factors involved, and this was the best time for Wolves to play City because with Rodri out and the little uncertainty in the midfield. Because look at all these unknown factors that end up playing a part into this. We had Nunes who returned to play against his former team, who ended up just breaking down because he couldn't handle the pressure and he had to be withdrawn for our academy player Oscar Bob who sometimes play on the wing, but this time we had him playing midfield because the midfield presence was just lacking. And that player like Rodri that was not there because don't get me wrong, I will not say that without Rodri we couldn't do anything and moving forward is going to be such a big issue. But for a game like that where you have a player like Neto and we have Cunha, we have Huang Ji, we have all them these these annoying
Mhm.
players that could bombard the defense. A player like Rodri that could break a play and not only just break a play, but also we know Rodri could shift the play, shift it out wide to get the plays and contribute a lot into the attack. It was very difficult because from the moment Nunez was withdrawn and you were left with Kovacic and you had to bring on Phillips now for now Phillips to now get into this whole flow is a terrible game for new players to be involved in. A terrible game that your midfield is still trying to figure out what to do. And honestly, they did well. They did well holding down Haaland. They did well keeping most of our attacking players quiet, and even introducing Jack back into the game. These are not the game. This is not the game you'll want all that happen in. But everything really just was not lining up for City, and I feel like the loss was kind of tough to take. It's just in the manner the way that they scored the winning goal is a big mix up in the box. I can't. Them was not playing the best football in defense. But those are one of the games where you're looking at from a world's perspective. A sucker punch and they're able to take 3 points. So it gonna happen in the prem. So you really can't fight too much against it. And I
How
I
you
have, I have
feeling?
no pro- I have no, I have no problem with being Wolves though.
How you feeling going in to the next game now?
Now going to the next game, I feel like it was just to get that out of the way because I feel like for the midfield, even the same midfield that we play against Wolves, I feel like that is the midfield that we should play against Arsenal to keep
So
the tempo
no
keep the tempo.
Calvin Phillips. Forget he.
Yeah, dog. No boy, no
Also,
no
who's
no.
Bob?
Oscar boy, that thing. Well, that's one of
He
our
bad boy.
academy players. Don't get me wrong, he's good, but he's not somebody you're willing to throw in at this stage.
No, but it is
Like,
amazing, dog, that he bring on Bob before he. Like, no, he played 3 men over playing Calvin Phillips, eh? That is
exactly,
insane.
exactly. So yeah,
I don't
that
think he
Okay.
wanted that DM.
uh,
Um, what I was going to say, boy, in the preview to the game, in the pre-match press conference, uh, Pep was talking about Wolves and he was talking about the dangerous players that they had, and he was listing out. He said Neto, he said somebody Cunha, and then he said the Korean guy. Well, this
yeah.
is, and then now said Korean guy why he chance scores, and then went to the crowd. No, and he said, "Now you know who I am, dog." That is
Mhm,
a I am him moment, dog.
yeah.
And
Dog,
this is why,
all those things and stuff that were from the script, from just seeing that, the
yeah,
minute that was
dog,
released.
it written,
if
it
if
written.
he was on City fans on Twitter, you're seeing everybody saying, "All right, well, we know for a fact he scored again, so I scored again." That's the exact same thing where the video come out with Jack talking about Almiron. Who come on hunters? Almiron. It's moments like that. Those are those moments where the little glitch in the matrix.
I love the banter
Ah,
within the City squad though.
Yeah.
Pep's interviews this season, like since Pep win the
they
treble, his
have been
interviews have just
Pep,
been
great.
so
Pep
funny.
don't Pep
They've
Yeah.
don't
been
care
fire.
anymore.
Dog,
Pep don't care.
I will never get over when he laughed at United, dog. That was hilarious. And with that being said, it has provided the perfect segue for Manchester United lost 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace. Without checking the table,
Yep.
guys, who will you think have more losses? Chelsea or United?
United.
Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea are more losses.
Chelsea are
Nah, I go
lower in
in
the
United.
table.
I think Chelsea been hitting a lot of draws though, a lot of nil-nils, 1-1s.
I shouldn't know.
United getting these losses, like.
It is
Who
United
are
with more losses,
that?
dog.
That
Dog,
that's
that's
tough.
insane.
That's honestly real sad to think of.
Now Chelsea have plenty draws, like, but they
Um,
low in the table though. They are
Yeah,
lower.
they are. So United lost 1-0 to Crystal Palace off a set piece. And look, it's really not clicking for them at the moment in time. The attack and the midfield is just not. The XG of this game wasn't like outrageous. Like it didn't seem like there were much chances created. I admit that I did not watch this game because obviously I watch good teams play, and Arsenal were playing at the same time, and so rough. I don't. I like being real, dog. I didn't really care to watch a mid-table clash, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly. I will say that. Nobody watching
dog,
the mid-table teams.
dog, this is insane. You can really watch the XG of every shot, dog. Dog, I like you clicking on United shots here. Not one of these shots. Okay, I see a header from a corner was XG of 0.23. That is the highest XG so far. And look, not to be one of them guys that like stats is everything, right? Because it's not. But like this has been the problem plaguing United so far this season, right? They had an XG of 1.3, right? With 19 shots. On average, let me say that's 20 shots, right? 20 shots across 1.3. That is an average of point. Somebody help me there. Was 1.3 divided by 20?
Divided by 20.
Yeah. That's an average of 0.065 per shot. Now, obviously, that's not how XG works, right? But that is what you're talking about United with their chances right now. Like they don't create clear cut chances for anybody, and like players like Rashford are taking blame, right? And my issue with that is again where we misrate players. It's not that Rashford is a bad player by any means. However, people saw last season, and I said it was unsustainable, and nobody wanted to listen to me, that Rashford was going on this run where he would constantly either score a screamer or dribble through two, three men and score. But as amazing as those things are, those are the things that gets us off our seats and excites us and stuff like that. That is all great for moments in games and for memories. But it is a sustainably attacking games week in, week out in our league, bro. Yeah, that can't be it. Crystal Palace get a goal off of a set piece and just sat back, allowed United a bunch of low expected chances. I went on to win the game 1-0. What's all your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, and obviously the whole continue to what you're saying with United. There's one thing. I feel like with United, it just seemed like this big experiment that Ten Hag is trying to do with the attack, and it feels like the only people that feel that have confidence with with the direction United go with the attack and feel like United attack is some threat is United fans. Everybody else look at it like, Dan, this is just the players all they have, all they throw them in the lineup. There's no fear factor because before we saw what Rashford play in the middle, we understand how much that impact the team. Put Rashford out wide, still, as you mentioned, with the type of chances, United had 19 shots, four on target.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if we just want to keep it simple and just look at that, we could even look at I think
Four on target, you know. Like,
four. Hmm.
and like, you know what's the thing? Like United, and don't get me wrong, I have sympathy for Ten Hag in
Hmm.
all the areas that he has cluster injuries in. So like you see like one position where like his first choice, second choice, and even emergency choice are all
Hmm.
injured. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I have sympathy for. So like you see like that he had um Regulon, Shaw and Malasia all out injured. Yeah, that I have sympathy for. However, at the same time, you just had to learn to deal with those things. And
Hmm.
they get back Amrabat. Hoyland is fit. Mount starting games. Who else they signed this summer? 'Cause I feel like they had signed somebody else. And he's starting too.
Mhm.
I know Haaland.
Oh, Nana. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So you have Nana, Hoyland, Amrabat, and Mount all starting games. You have Bruno. You have Rashford. It's just Licha out and the left back out at this point. What more they want at this point? Like, how much more excuses are we going to afford that we're going to blame the board because that's United fans' favorite tagline to blame the board. And I will maintain for like the billionth time, yes, there is blame to place there. But at some point, your manager is getting the players that he wants. When are we going to start to actually attribute blame to the players and to the manager for the fact that we are now 4 games of the season and you all have seen more losses than you all have seen goals scored?
Exactly that. And looking at the opposition too, we can't sit on here now and say this is like Crystal Palace or 2 seasons ago or the three when their defense was real stubborn and whatever. Yeah, we understand. We know the manager they have is a very good manager when it comes to setting up his defense and everything. But to have all
Mm-hmm.
those shots against this very average, because not Newcastle, because Crystal Palace is really
Yeah,
they really is the definition of average in this league. Honestly,
yeah.
they're not terrible, they're not good, they're not bad.
As the aside.
Yeah, and as
Mm-hmm.
their side for United to go up against them, the game finished 1-0. We're not talking about no goal first on United end up losing. You all could manage to get one goal out of all those chances you create with those players that all is so hype up about adding to the attack and to this whole big creativity. Come on, like realistically at this point, it seems that, yeah, I feel like whatever excuse Ten Hag and United fans could say, it really is not enough.
Yeah. Patrick, thoughts?
Nah, I honestly agree with both of y'all, I guess. I don't even know how to start fixing United's attacking issues. I, I don't think it's down to lack of finishing. I think they're just having a hard time creating chances. At this point, if they're so uncreative that if you commit to sitting back against them, you will get through. It's basically that.
True.
Unless Bruno score like from 25 yards out.
Yeah.
I don't know
Uh,
how much times he could really do that.
and that's my point. Like again, people hate to watch like people hate underlying metrics when it doesn't fall in line with their team, right? And I fully agree that there's a point at which we might be heading to no return with some of these underlying metrics, right? There are some things that are really unnecessary. However, just contextualize things like if you are averaging creating shots that are point 0.1 an XG per game, right? That's point 0.1 an XG means that in every 100 attempts, 10 times a shot scores. So that means that you need that player to attempt that shot at least 1 in 10 times for them to score. That is unsustainable. And that is where we have reached with United, unfortunately. And people are going to watch it and say that it's hate, it's criticism, blame the board, whatever. Listen, as much as I have a lot of gripes with the man, and most of it is personal because I'm a fan of the club, Arsene Wenger dealt with a terrible board for years and kept Arsenal in top four. Jurgen Klopp doesn't have a great board behind him and keeps them competitive and fighting for every trophy on the board and has them looking like they could be the champions the next year, maybe even higher if they defy my expectations at the very least, right? That it comes with the job. Not everybody has a Todd Bowley who buys everything for you. And as we can see, that doesn't necessarily work out on the field. Or have the sheiks behind it that Man City have. Or even before that, when Chelsea had Roman Abramovich, who honestly might have been the greatest owner of all time. Because he saw Chelsea as like his passion project. Because he really did invest into them. Not just like time, not just money, but like time and energy and effort and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
that's just part of it. And it again, Ten Hag to this point has gotten his players. He has gotten the right winger he wanted. He got the left back he wanted. He got the centre back he wanted. The striker, the keeper. He has now signed 3 midfielders. He has signed a striker in January. The only position he didn't sign somebody was right back and left wing. And that was positions that according to United fans they were very much well off of it. So then now he has to provide results. And it can't always be looking to the transfer window. Like,
Yeah.
at what point do we say that you are responsible for what you put on the field? At what point do we say, and like people will say things like he has to use players that he wanted sold, bro? I was told last year that it did not matter when I was in a title race and I was starting a centre back who can't even get on the pitch for Crystal Palace self though. That is how bad that man is. Like
Mhm.
that just comes with the territory. And again, I am saying this that like unless you are Chelsea or you are City, you don't overturn your whole squad in like 2 years. It does like I'm not even saying that from an envy or train sheet point of view. It's just the fact of the reality of the environment we are in. Liverpool still had what was that man name earlier? Nat Phillips was his name, the centre back. He
Yeah.
was
Yep.
still there last season. He started the Premier League game for them last season. It comes with the territory. Stop complaining. Stop um finding excuses. That is just the reality of it. And we are now he took over last year, July or June, because he had the whole of preseason last year. We are in October now. He still has now won a game away from home against the top 9 of last season or top 10, whatever it is. And he is expected to take them forward. And he is buying players that, as far as we could see, even with our limited understanding, doesn't seem to fit the style of play we are being told that he's building towards. I know it definitely does seem like they are stuck in between two different things. Whether it be sitting back, playing on the counter, which is perfectly fine, or playing front footed, pressing, high attacking, high octane football, which is also fine. But then now you're buying players, renewing players' contracts who all seem to be stuck between these two ideologies. Who does that fall on?
Yeah. I think falling out with Sancho is a problem too, because felt like Sancho could have make something happen in the current in the current
Mm-hmm.
system, especially
Mm-hmm.
given how much they're just struggling to make chances. Sancho could have probably worked. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Anthony, to be honest, so I guess it's anything to just get him out. But
Mm-hmm.
somebody had to create chances, and
Mm-hmm.
Bruno can't be the only one. Rashford is not very good at creating chances. Hoyland, I think, was the wrong profile signing for this thing, too. Well, actually, it's too early to tell, to be honest. But the
Mm-hmm.
way teams sitting back against United, that's not really Hoyland game. So,
Yeah. And you know what's the thing too, eh? We going from them not just winning, lack of wins away from home, eh? They are being dominated at home now. Brighton beat them. Crystal Palace did not dominate them, but they managed to do enough. That one goal
Mm-hmm.
for the Manchester United Old Trafford was enough to see them with a win. Wolves dominate them, unlucky not to have gotten a win, and that has been and Nottingham Forest due to a sketchy penalty and a red card lost a 2-0 lead at Old Trafford. That is where
yeah.
United reaching it. And tell
Mm-hmm.
me, be it completely honest, tell me if we did not have the badges or didn't have the sponsors or didn't have the crest and whatever, that if we had put them in a playing kit, what's the difference between them now and any other mid-table team we'd have in this league?
Well, right now they are playing like a mid-table team, and they are at the middle of the table. So, I mean, yeah. But I think I think it's a big case of like Ten Hag signings that really match the system as well. When they
Mm-hmm.
brought Hoyland, and I said that, yeah, really good signing, whatever, looks really good. I honestly thought they was gonna continue playing counter attacking football, because that's what would have make sense if you're gonna sign someone like Hoyland. But
Mm-hmm.
now they're trying to dominate the ball, and he seems to be struggling a little bit. I feel like he don't even know where to be, like
Yes, I
positionally. Not even
literally was
sure where
about to
to.
say that, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So,
and then my thing is, if you was gonna play possession ball, right? Why didn't just make a move for Tony? Like, do people not rate him or
mm,
something? I don't really understand. Why not just, get him, struggle a
Benson.
little bit for like 4 months, but then come January, you're looking at a very strong finish to the season with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
I don't know, dog. Honestly, I don't know.
Now they have to host Galatasaray at home in the midweek in the Champions League, who have had a good start to the season, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. That might be a game to watch. I am
Mm-hmm.
hoping that game is not on the same time that the Arsenal Lens game is on. And again, beautiful segue. Arsenal beat Bournemouth 4-0 this weekend, and I'll be honest, I have had some gripes with my coach this week. Everybody knows I'm a very big advocate of him and his journey, and I think journey is the right word. Like I always say that I am going to have to experience the growing pains of him as he grows into becoming one of the best coaches in the world. Because that's what I believe that he's capable of. And I think that he's getting there slowly. And there are things that I don't understand, and there are things that I don't need to understand. I hold no say or feel any outcome of anything that happens at Arsenal. It's all on him. But I remember going into the derby before we, because Bournemouth was pretty straightforward, and there may be like some little things to talk about it, but like more from the derby was that I really did not like that we started Eddie and Jesus, and we put Jesus out wide.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the injuries, because I thought that sent the wrong message to the squad. Because why are you re-signing Reece Nelson to our contract then? If after your first choice and your second choice left winger, he can't even get to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the wrong message, especially after he's proven. And to me, every time he touches, he feels like he's capable of doing something. So then, when does he earn the start? However, um, after the Bournemouth game, he did say that him and Smith Rowe aren't up to match fitness yet. Both of them did miss preseason, so it could be part of that as well. But I thought against Tottenham, the first 35 minutes we were great. Honestly, I thought we were really really good, and we just didn't play with the food too much. And then the too much injuries came together in the second half, and one individual bozo moment put us in a position where we didn't even have a chance to like put our foot back on the ball and then now apply pressure when we had them wounded. We just give them a respite to be back in the one time with the Jorginho era. However, this weekend and midweek, that was not the case. Um, and you would think that with so many conversations around Arsenal that we weren't undefeated, that we weren't on one of the best starts I could ever ask for the season, even though I really, really have a pivot throwing against Tottenham. But it's good. Kai Havertz got off the mark this weekend. Odegaard took over the second penalty, which turned out to be the third goal. And I think they was gonna give Jesus it actually, so that Jesus would get a chance to score. Nobody, like people who play FPL, I think nobody ever asked me who's Arsenal pen taker. I don't have an answer for you. I feel it's everybody at this point. But I think Jesus was actually gonna take the third one. Well, the third goal. What would have been the third goal? The second pen, and Odegaard walked over to him and said, let me give Havertz it, let him get off the mark, and so he did.
Arsenal meant too friendly, boy. Oh, God.
And you lost this weekend. What
Let's
was your
Saka
mouth?
take. I focus on my points, Let's Saka
Yeah, I
take
can't
this
lie.
win.
Yeah, I really wanted the points. Like, dog, another day. This is a Saka hat trick. We said that he talk about it. But
Yeah.
dog, Saka have more hat tricks for England than he have for Arsenal, bro. That is.
But, well,
Yeah, boy. But yeah, it was a comfortable day. It was pretty good. Um, I don't have much to say. This was really straightforward. And now everything looks towards City next week. And look, I will say this, right? I do think that in terms of football and wise, I do think that we are very close to City. I think that there are players that I think are on par at which City are performing. It's just a case of City are mentally proven to be levels ahead of us. Now, this season, I think we've shown a certain cerebralness that City have shown a lot on the Pep in terms of making games boring, not making it entertaining for the neutral, just strictly business and getting things done. And so I think that this weekend coming here against City is an opportunity for us to show, okay, how far have we really come to this point? How much have we learned from losing the title to them last season? And not to necessarily win, and that means that we are title for it. Even in God's name, when we win next weekend, I will still say it is City's title because it's Pep. He is the greatest marathon runner that this world has ever seen in terms of a manager, and he will still find a way to win. But in terms of us as a team progressing, and then hopefully now going on next year as in 2024 into the Champions League knockouts, and what can we do there? This is a good time for us to lay a marker of where we stand amongst what would be Europe's elite. So, Patrick, any thoughts, bro?
Mm-hmm.
I know
On
you
the
didn't watch
game
this game.
or on
In
Arsenal?
fact, why don't tell everybody what? Well, for us it's 10 o'clock, guys. What 10 o'clock game did you watch Saturday morning live? Which one did you watch
I
live?
watched. Which one did I watch live? Oh, that's such a good question. At Newcastle. I watched Newcastle live.
Oh, you're watching Newcastle live. That's not the answer I wanted you to give, bro. You can give the answer I
Oh,
wanted you to give.
I don't know which one you want to do.
the Luton game.
Oh, I didn't watch that one live. I watched that after. Yeah, okay, yeah. Luton versus Everton. I watched that live, and we could clip that up. I did watch
Okay,
that in terms of. So I watched 4 games fully right yesterday. It was Luton versus Everton, um, Newcastle versus whoever they play against. I watched the West Ham game. I watched Liverpool versus those guys,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else was just highlights. Because I've seen enough of Arsenal. I have nothing
Yeah,
new
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Seen
That's
enough of
valid. Yeah.
United.
yeah, that has to
I,
be the standard.
Yeah, I definitely I wanted to watch the teams that I didn't get to see yet. I didn't even get to watch the Villa game because I didn't want to wake up so early. So I was like, okay, and I didn't get to watch the highlights yet either. But I've seen almost all Villa games for the season so far. So I was like, nothing new there. I
And
wanted to
Patrick
watch. I
literally was
haven't seen
telling me
Luton
the
yet.
night before that that Watkins points explosion was coming.
Yes, boy.
Patrick
I
was
went
not
and
telling.
watched the stats and whatever. Though he was like way under where he was supposed to be. Like in
Yeah.
terms of expected
Yeah.
data, he was the
Mm.
expected say he should be here, and he was like here chilling with 1 goal.
Mm-hmm.
And me and John debated for a little bit, but in the end, I didn't really want him in my field because he was expensive. I was like, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
It
They
is
get
what
what
it
they pay
is.
for these days, though. So,
For
yeah.
real. But yeah,
yeah.
the Arsenal game, Patsy, have anything to add on it? Or
On the
because I think,
Bournemouth,
cause
Arsenal versus Bournemouth, or what I think gonna
yeah,
happen when you play against City.
I don't want to hear that one because there's a reality we lose, and I don't need that negativity in my life right now.
Well, I wasn't gonna say
Let's
that. I was gonna say anything to that one because
I can
it's
live
two
with that
teams
then.
going in with
Please
yeah.
feel free to proceed then.
It's two teams going in with like couple injuries and whatever, and City off the back of a loss versus Arsenal off the back of a 4-0 win. I don't really think there's a key favorite here. Plus Arsenal at home, so that goes a lot to say that like it basically is kind of in Arsenal's hands, and are saying that it could go either way. Because Arsenal at
Mm-hmm.
home, City going in without Rodri, City just lost. Arsenal win 4-0. Arsenal looking good, but I mean City looking good too though. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I think it in anybody's hands right now. If it finished 1-1, I wouldn't be surprised. I do think it gonna have plenty goals in it though. So I'll say that. I think
I
there'll be a
would
lot of goals in the game.
kill for 1-0 win where Kai Havertz just he scored the only goal. And to see
I can't
Virgil
see you
face
keeping a
cover
clean sheet.
for the I'm not saying what realistic. I say what I would
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
for. I
Okay,
would
yeah,
kill
yeah.
to see Virgil
I
sour
would
face
take
that Kai Havertz score.
I would take anybody scoring but Kai Havertz. I'll take
I never
anybody.
tell you, I will go and find. Oh, you're lucky. I too definite. I was about to sing Kai Havertz chant dog. I have been singing that since yesterday to the tune of Shakira's Waka Waka dog. If he scored XP Virgil, the introduction to this podcast, I am not going to play the intro. I am going to get a crowd version of the Kai Havertz chant and play that dog. Okay, cool. So that's pretty started. Newcastle also win this weekend. They have scored 10 goals in the last two games. Who said Newcastle can't attack, guys? And I just going on just drop this here because we are now on game week 7. This is what the football play. Um, Upcoming for you guys though is that over the international break we're gonna do two different pods. One is that we gonna do extreme takes, a pod on extreme takes. So like in that you're allowed to revisit some of your early season predictions, as well as on the very little information we've had so far, 8 games in, you can make some extreme takes on how your Philly season going to end. But so as the table stands right now, Manchester City after they lost this weekend on 18 points, both Arsenal and Spurs are on 17 with goal difference, both being 9. Just Spurs have scored 2 more goals than Arsenal. Um, Bro, as much as like we haven't scored that much, I genuinely have loved how great we've been defensively. Like we just don't allow
hmm
much chances. Like I'm not
Yeah.
saying that the Prickers against City, they'll get chances, but like in a general sense, it has been so good to watch, bro. And like in terms of you play football parts to a higher level than a lot of people that listen to these pods, right? And like you wouldn't understand like how much relationships on the pitch mean for one another, and like
Yeah.
how important it are for like the fullback and the winger to have like a good understanding of one another, centre backs to have a good understanding, and like honestly, but I think we really have been blessed to have Gabriel and Saliba as a centre back partnership. After that
hmm
is Liverpool in fourth. Then we have a team that both of you all were pretty high on is Aston Villa in fifth with 5 wins, 2 losses. Can I say though, every single Villa game that I have seen or watched highlights of have all seemed extraordinarily kamikaze, dog. And except for probably the Everton game, that was the only one that I feel like they was in control of. So Everton do the most Everton thing. They win last week, win midweek, and then lost to Luton. But Luton, your dream is alive, run. I believe in y'all. We are staying up. After Aston Villa is Brighton. Then we have West Ham, who a lot of us, including myself, had going down. Then we have Newcastle. Then Crystal Palace leapfrog United this weekend after they won, and then United in 10th. And then we have Chelsea playing tomorrow. If Chelsea, by some reason, remember to score goals, they will go up to 8 points and they'll be joint 11th. So cool. Going around Europe now, because I can't really be bothered to do any Champions League predictions, is that Leipzig drew 2-2 with Bayern Munich this week, and they went 2-0 up. Openda had a goal and assist in this game. He started to life in Germany extremely well. Like, they have been playing good, and this is why they were my, like, dark horse shout for the Champions League. Like
Hmm.
I like that's our next thing too for City, yeah, going into this week. Like they have to go to Germany to play Leipzig, which is a hard game in itself, and then have to play us dog. But
Them going to slap Leipzig, dog.
don't be so rude. We can
They
at
are going to
least like
slap
give them
Leipzig.
a little chance, bro. But the
There's
more
no
important
chance.
thing about that draw has nothing to do with Bayern, have nothing to do with Leipzig, but everything to do with the fact that now Bayern Leverkusen are the only team at the top of the table in the Bundesliga after their 3-0 win yesterday.
Yep.
That is
Grimaldo
the
on our
most
madness.
important. Who's that?
Grimaldo. Grimaldo
Bro,
come and change the game for them.
dog, honestly, their recruitment has been on point. They
Yeah,
have
for
been
Yeah.
sure.
great. They are on 16 points. And actually the second place team is not even Bayern, is Stuttgart. And then is Bayern,
Nice.
who are level on points with Dortmund, who we have said on this pod a million times have started this season like some idiots. That's the best I could say.
Yeah.
That's the most like PC way I could say. But Stuttgart though, having a real good start this season. And who's also another surprise team that's had a good start to the season is Girona, who is part of the Man City group. Virgil, I know you're pretty high on them, but they lost this weekend, bro. To Real Madrid, to Jude. They lost to Jude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but honestly, from that just from that game is a big difference between obviously the how I want to describe Joe. They already went into the game with the hype and with the hype from the west before, but the experience of Liverpool just shine. It just shine because it was all Girona in the early parts of the game. Don't get me wrong, Girona should have had some early chances where they could have taken it, but just having Jude there and that ball from Jude for that first goal for to Hustle, that was amazing. I don't understand how one, I don't understand how Jude see that pass and how Hustle being behind the fence was still able to know, okay, I could get to that ball. But still, at the end of the day, a lot of, and after that, the big stature of Real Madrid would be enough to crumble any team. And really, yeah, and then really, honestly, it's it really ran out to be the 3-0. So kind of was expected after the first goal, but you gotta give credit to Real Madrid.
Yeah. Friday actually had a game as well for La Liga, and it was that Barcelona played Sevilla, who no, we're not playing them this week. We're playing them after the international break. But Barca won 1-0 through a Sergio Ramos goal, which is so funny. 'Cause Ramos, Real Madrid history, Barcelona. It was
Hmm.
so fitting that was who did it. And yeah, Barca, tugging along. Who are they playing Champions League this week? Patrick. I mean, all the whole group kind of easy now. Is it like, is this
Porto, I
the,
think. Porto.
oh, that is probably the hardest game of the group,
I'm
That's
back
the
to
to
be
you.
hardest
fair.
game. Porto
Yeah.
in Portugal.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, what you call it? Fucking that Sevilla game wasn't easy though.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sevilla do well, and I thought we was gonna mash up Sevilla because normally we kind of do, but nah, tough game. Um, and I glad Ramos was there when we needed him most. So, yeah.
As we are recorded, Atletico Madrid are actually losing 1-0 to Cadiz. So
Okay.
that's a thing. Moving on now, going on to the Syria, and why is this not loading? Okay, yeah. Um, AC won this weekend as well as Inter. Both are on 18 points. There's somebody who subbed on for Inter Milan this weekend, guys. He subbed on in the 55th minute. At the time, the score was 0-0. At the end of the Inter game, it finished 4-0.
Yeah.
Lautaro Martinez
Anything,
scored
right?
all four.
I want to know where all our energy was in the World Cup. Like that's actually
Dog,
what I think that's the main question that we had to ask ourselves. Where was
dog.
that come the World Cup when he was trying his best so that Messi could not lift up no trophy? He literally tried his best though. We played 10v12 in many games we played where he on score goals, missed easy chances, and then talking in the interview after talking about, yeah, well, I'm not up to full fitness, What we gonna do, fellas? Four
In
goals
more
in half an hour, this man could score.
AC Milan won 2-0, and Pulisic continued his great start to the season for them. Hopefully, they can charge for the City Champions League because, again, they have Dortmund this week. I think so. I don't think they had to play PSG this week. Virgil, I don't know if you can help me out there.
So,
Hey boy, I have a fun fact. I was supposed to say this when we were talking about Germany, boy. Dog, all you know, the hat trick Kane score last week
It
wasn't
was
recorded
the
as a
hat
hat trick in
trick.
the Bundesliga. Yeah.
That is so.
mhm,
Strange,
I
right?
can't say
Yeah.
something. That is so dumb, though. Like that is
Yeah.
like so discrediting the man.
The
Why is explain to
Bundesliga
everybody
don't
why
count
it's not?
penalties. The Bundesliga don't count penalties and hat tricks.
really?
So
Or
if
that
one
is
of your
what you
goals is a
saw.
pen,
That is
yeah.
not why I
What
saw
you
it.
saw?
I saw that the reason it wasn't a hat trick is because he had to score the goals consecutively. Like because Sane scored in between his goals is why it
Oh,
wasn't a hat trick.
the one I saw was for penalties. They say they don't count penalties and hat tricks.
Either way, it's dumb. It's so
That's
dumb.
weird. Yes. What going on with Germany, boy? Them always had to be
Yeah.
different, boy.
E-
Right through.
Either reasoning doesn't make sense. It's like,
It
bro,
doesn't. He scored 3 goals.
yeah, he
He's
he
got three
scored.
goals, but it's not a hat trick.
But yeah, so AC hopefully AC can carry this form into the Champions League. They have to go to Dortmund, and the thing is like
Yeah,
I want AC to come with this group. I've said that a million times. I think they have a very fair chance to, but given the fact, even more so, sorry, I think they always needed to, but given the fact that they drew to Newcastle at home, even more so now they need to get a win after that week round.
mhm.
Dortmund might actually be. I mean, it's a group of that dog. Nobody easy to go to. But of all the grounds
Yeah.
to go to, they might be the easiest. Give a Dortmund
But Dortmund in form, though.
tendency to yeah, but it's Dortmund though. Dortmund form does never ever feel real to me because you'll say Dortmund is form and then they'll play somebody semi-serious and before you know it, they scoring own goals for fun.
Mhm. Nah, but
I
but but the
think,
other but the other factor too for Dortmund is maybe the atmosphere as well, and even for Dortmund,
Yeah, yeah, correct.
even if
Very correct.
even if we look at it from a case of who might win or lose, it even might come out to be a similar result for Milan against Newcastle, and 0-0 draw, and even for that would just frustrate Milan more I suppose I would frustrate Dortmund.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Uh
Not to disrespect Virgil here, but I think that would be a great game for Dortmund to actually start full crew and just watch him bully Tomori, dog.
No,
that's
no,
actually a good point.
and I think honestly going into the game, like I would not sit down here and say Milan is favorite because I know for a fact Milan is the type of team that Milan is a type of team in moments like that they will decide to play the most jokiest football and they'll play so good against teams where you feel like it's easy for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
But going into this, it all depends on that lineup. And as I mentioned too, with their
He's no
lineup that
star Giroud.
whatever and I think whatever lineup Milan decide to put out,
Just don't start
you
Giroud.
have you have to you have to try and see if you could outscore Dortmund really. And
Yeah.
I know you say I really feel in the case of Dortmund playing home and the type of players that they play, even yeah, and you can't. One of my favorite players to watch is Adeyemi.
Mm-hmm.
That man, give him a chance and him just run that
Yeah.
at
That is
Milan.
our problem.
Yeah, well, Milan, that's gonna be tough for Milan to deal up with. I'll be real
Mm-hmm.
with you.
On
I should
another
tough for
note,
Tomori to deal up with.
Especially a full crew start because I think Tomori would back himself against people like Adeyemi
Adeyemi, yeah.
and Malin because Tomori asset is his pace now, way. He
Yeah,
could deal with fast players, but is his strength?
yeah.
That 6'4" big white German boy, I think that is a bigger problem than Adeyemi might be for Tomori.
Yeah, that's true for sure.
Valid. Moving on. Napoli won this weekend, right? And they have won the last two games. However, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding Napoli recently. So, some clubs have TikTok accounts and they could get a little out of hand when
I
they
see
want
that
to.
dog. That's real
And
funny.
Napoli kind of have been mocking, and they've also bordered on some racist stuff in what their TikToks have been made. So this has been Napoli's statement. Calcio Napoli wishes to avoid any exploitation of the issue. Uh, point out that we never wanted to offend or mock Victor Osimhen, who's a treasure at the club. As a proof of that, during this summer training retreat, the club firmly rebuffed every offer that was received for the striker's transfer abroad. I kind of like that line to me is terrible, but
Yeah, yeah,
social
definitely
media
that
in
was not
particular,
necessary.
yeah, it's like if be grateful we didn't sell you. Like
Yeah, basically.
What? Um, Social media, and particularly TikTok, has always used an expressive form of language with a light-hearted creativity, without wanting to, as in this case with Osimhen as the protagonist, have any intent of insult or derision. In any case, if
Okay.
Victor's perceived any offense towards him, this was not the intent, right? Osimhen after that now released a statement saying, "Coming to the city of Naples in 2020 was a wonderful decision to meet. The people of Napoli have shown me so much love and kindness, and I will not allow anyone to come between us. The passion of the people of Naples fuels my fire to always play with my heart and my soul, and the love for the badge is unwavering as I wear it with pride. The accusations against the people of Naples are untrue. I have a lot of friends that are Napolitans and have become part of my family and everyday life. I appreciate Nigerians and everyone for leading their voice to support and reach out to me. I'm forever grateful. Let's support unity, respect, and understanding. Forza Napoli." Now, everything there sounds like it's all made up, right? However, during the week, Osimhen went and delete every Instagram picture he had on Napoli, right? Like, there was a part of me
That's actually
that,
wild to me.
like, felt then and still kind of feels like the very reality is Napoli didn't start the season well, right? They didn't start it in the
Hmm.
manner that they would have expected, given that they were reigning champions and would hopefully been trying to push on. You know, they lost Kim, they lost somebody else, and they kind of might well feel like a few steps backwards. Cavaskelia also hasn't had the devastating effects on games that he's been having last season. And part of me kind of feel like he was using this. Not that it wasn't wrong what he did. It is 100% wrong. But they've always treaded on that line of inappropriate humor on TikTok. Especially these Italian TikTok accounts. Though
Right.
that doesn't even include like Zenit and thing, right? Part of me feel like he kind of was using it as an excuse to try and get out of the club because there was talk of legal action and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is wrong what they did. But hopefully they can get past them because though Napoli is still a very good team. They play
Hmm.
Real Madrid in the midweek, and that's one of the games that I am looking forward to. So hopefully they could get all past this now, play it off till the summer, cut his price down, and then Papi, it's time for you to come to London because
So every,
Victor
Hot
Osimhen
Chelsea.
14 at Arsenal will look great.
mm,
Moving on.
Imagine
I mean,
Osimhen in
what I
front of
want to say anything?
Nkunku though.
What I want to say anything
I,
about that?
I just like you know we don't know Bowley already have money put aside for Osimhen. So the
Why? Yeah, but
moment that the
I meant
moment
on like the Napoli thing. Oh god, oh
oh I did
god.
not play.
Yeah.
But you know they were Napoli situation for what you said there. It's true because I feel like I honestly I be real I was not too invested into both sides because for me I really focus on my team. But looking at it, but and seeing clips that came out from what was posted and how Osman was his body language and his behavior around the club, it seems that it's something that really both parties can really sit down and honestly resolve so simple. But
Mm,
it seems that that I can't necessarily just start and say the club looking at it from a way of like, oh gosh, like why Osman making a big scene about it. But it really honestly does seem like Osimhen is really trying to milk something out of it, whether it be some financial benefits or what some other benefits or whatever, or as you mentioned rightly, so I'm trying to get a move when the time comes. But it
mm-hmm.
really feels like Osimhen is milking it because I feel like if everything he said in that statement he said is true, he could sit down with the club, they could talk it over. Obviously, those things could happen. The high ups of the club could resolve that easy with the marketing team and those behind social media, and we could all
Mm-hmm.
move on from that very very simple. But I really feel so. I really feel it might be a little frustration on Osimhen's part, and really feel that I let me if I do get this move out, the fans won't turn on me and make it seem that I really trying to force my way out. He might feel like I just not feeling respected at the club.
Hmm. I
Cool.
mean, the way I watching this thing, I don't think he can go to London because I think Barca still have like 3, 4 more levers they could pull
Haaland, boy.
if we could get him in. And he should already be accustomed to small wages, so that nothing for us. You know?
Hey, that was actually good. That was good. Do y'all know that Monaco are top of Liga?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's insane. Like how?
PSG can't beat us
Balogun,
in
dog.
relegation zone.
Nah,
Balogun.
they're not the
Or they sell the
relegation
wrong one.
zone,
Or they should have sold Nketiah and keep Balogun.
bro. I am undefeated. I couldn't really care about who it is. Although
Say no more. I'll check your back by next week.
Balogun scored yesterday, he did score.
Yeah.
Dog. Nah, I mean, dog, I don't want Nketiah score next week. I mean, yes, I will take him scoring next week. I don't really want him play. This is really about
Yeah.
what who does want their plan B striker to play? I think that something is very wrong with that. But
Nah,
to
but
be
all
fair,
your
then,
plan B is
I know
always
your
gonna end up
mind.
being a plan A at some point because Jesus just, not that fit.
Hence, Victor. Next summer, my
He
brother.
unfit too. That's our
That
next
is
big
okay.
knee problem just waiting to happen.
They will all dog. Hear this, right? We all thought Haaland was injury prone till he comes City.
You see
Man,
how
just
them just have Jesus playing? Tack, 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 tack. Them can't want Osimhen do the same thing his knee can't give out.
dog. This is why we gonna rotate the two.
That's why he should come Barcelona, because Lewa already don't do nothing. So he could come and fit in.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
Big man thing.
earlier last night, we was playing pros, right? And Patrick played on top, and he missed an easy chance. And I was like, hard luck, Lewa. He was like, don't ever call me that shit on game again.
He's so overrated, dog.
Dog.
He's so overrated.
Monaco are really top of the league, by the way. I wasn't just talking shipments. It's
Yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
Brest,
Nah, yeah.
then Reims, then Nice, and
How
then
I like to.
PSG with their 3 wins this season. 3 wins in the league, yeah? That
Yeah, boy.
is insane behavior that they drew nil yesterday with Clermont foot. Like,
Yeah,
what?
because the way I watching it, they mightn't even come out the group in Champions League. And I think that's a real thing that could actually happen. I honestly think they're gonna struggle more than they think against Newcastle. Them men not easy to play against.
Oh, they're gonna struggle.
Valid. Okay, guys, I don't want us to go too long. So, Champions League. Oh, I didn't say this with the Arsenal game, but I have felt for a while that, like, Havertz has actually been playing decent. It's just like
Oh my
he
god.
come for that money, and like you expect him to do more, right? And like part of this because like we saw Xhaka scoring goals and thing last season, right? But when you actually look at their metrics, like obviously Havertz was a smaller sample size, right? But like Havertz's metrics this season compared to Xhaka's last season, he's outperforming them in almost all, as well as we are controlling games more. And part of it is that Havertz is better athletically. He is bigger. We are winning more duels. We are contesting games more. We are occupying better spaces. It just goes in common fit. But it will come. And you know when it's going to come? Next week when we play Manchester City. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. We love you all. We will do a giveaway very soon. I just kind of need to put things in place because part of it too is that every single year we used to increase the amount of giveaway winners. Yeah, at some point, guys, I just can't sustain that. That is just too much. But we'll give away a few kits. That is no problem. And so, yeah, love you guys. Thank you guys for coming on as well. And we'll catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy. Later.